Do you have any evidence of election fraud or irregularities in the 2020 election?
So, first, Senator.
Yes or no? It's a yes or no question.
First, Senator.
Do you have evidence, yes or no?
First, Senator. First, Senator. I'm so sorry about the fires to you and Senator Schiff and what you're going through in your states. I have to say that.
I appreciate
think
that.
all
My
of our,
clock is
I'll
ticking,
answer
and I
your
want to
question. All
hear
of our
your answer.
hearts go out to everyone in California for what you're facing right now. I'm glad you asked the question about Pennsylvania.
It's a yes or no question.
I was
Do you
hoping
have evidence,
someone
yes or
would.
no?
Senator, I was hoping you'd ask the question.
Do you have evidence, yes or no?
I traveled to Pennsylvania.
Do you have evidence,
I
yes
traveled,
or no?
Senator, to Pennsylvania.
Okay, you're not answering my question. If you have no evidence to offer, let me ask you this. Will you now retract your previous statements that Trump won Pennsylvania in the 2020 election, yes or no?
Oh, Senator, I traveled to Pennsylvania, and let me tell you what I saw firsthand.
Yes or no?
I didn't talk about California because I was not in California. I talked about
Yes or no? Last time I'm going to ask.
I talked about Pennsylvania because
Mr.
I
Chair,
was there.
I'm going to move on because she's
got a
clearly not
court
answering my
order.
question. Thank you, Mr. Chair. Before I begin, I just want to remind us all for the record that the 34 convictions, not indictments, convictions of former President, incoming President Trump were by a jury of his peers. Thank you, Ms. Bondi, for being here today, and I too would like to welcome your family and friends who are here.
Thank you.
Appreciate the opportunity to meet yesterday to learn about your priorities and discuss a number of issues that are important to me. But I got to tell you, as I reflected on our conversation yesterday and as I've observed the hearing today, I continue to have significant reservations on your ability to function as a truly independent Attorney General for your friend. Let's say you keep referring to him, your friend, President-elect Trump. So I hope you can address some of these concerns through your responses to my questions here. Now, the first issue area is something that we didn't get a chance to touch on yesterday. So I actually want to follow up on some of Senator Durbin's questions from earlier about the 2020 election. And to be specific, on the day after the 2020 presidential general election, you traveled to Philadelphia to appear alongside President Trump's then attorney, Rudy Giuliani. And together, you falsely asserted that President Trump had, quote, won Pennsylvania in that election. Now, I want to be clear, at that moment, there were still at least 1 million ballots left to be counted in Pennsylvania. Of course, President Biden went on to win the state by more than 80,000 votes. But in the following days, even after the results were clear, you continued to double down on the big lie, promoting falsehoods about election fraud and cheating without offering any actual evidence. And I remember it clearly because I served as California Secretary of State at the time, and I invited anybody associated with the Trump campaign who was making these claims to come forward with evidence of irregularities in the election or massive voter fraud. 4 years later, I still have seen none. So I ask you today, do you have any evidence of election fraud or irregularities in the 2020 election?
So, first, Senator.
Yes or no? It's a yes or no question.
First, Senator.
Do you have evidence, yes or no?
First, Senator. First, Senator. I'm so sorry about the fires to you and Senator Schiff and what you're going through in your states. I have to say that.
I appreciate
think
that,
all
but
of
my
our,
clock is
I'll
ticking,
answer
and I
your
want to
question. All
hear
of our
your answer.
hearts go out to everyone in California for what you're facing right now. I'm glad you asked the question about Pennsylvania.
It's a yes or no question. Do you have evidence, yes or no?
Senator, I was hoping you'd ask the question.
Do you have evidence, yes or no?
I traveled to Pennsylvania.
Do you have evidence, yes or no?
Senator, to Pennsylvania.
Okay, you're not answering my question. If you have no evidence to offer, let me ask you this. Will you now retract your previous statements that Trump won Pennsylvania in the 2020 election, yes or no?
Oh, Senator, I traveled to Pennsylvania, and let me tell you what I saw firsthand.
Yes or
no? I didn't talk about California because I was not in California. I talked about
yes or no. Last time I'm going to ask.
I talked about Pennsylvania because
Mr.
I
Chair,
was there.
I'm going to move on because she's clearly not answering my questions. And I want to know, colleagues, for everybody, members of the committee and everybody watching, that the attorney who stood beside Mr. Giuliani was making very similar statements. And he has since been disbarred from multiple jurisdictions for making these false claims about the 2020 election in court. And like Mr. Giuliani, as you've noted today, you've taken an oath to uphold the Constitution just as an attorney. And now you're asking us to consider you to serve as a chief law enforcement officer in our country. So it's imperative, Ms. Bondi, that you subscribe to facts and evidence and not politically convenient conspiracy theories. Your job will be, your job will be to protect voters and election workers, not to undermine and dox them. Now, I know that earlier you agreed that Joe Biden is in fact president, but many of the president-elect's inner circle continue to spread the big lie about the 2020 election. Then we'll move on to a different topic. 'Cause I know
Senator,
that's one
you were
that you're obviously
speaking.
not comfortable
May
with.
I speak? You
When
cut
I
me
ask
off
you the
when I
next
was
question, you
speaking.
can speak, and I hope you answer, Ms. Bondi.
Well, I'd
now,
like
when
to
we met
answer the
yesterday,
previous one, Senator.
when we met yesterday,
You pointed your finger at me and
you
said
did not
you were
seem to
speaking.
be familiar
Let me answer my
with
question.
the
I'm not going to be
citizenship
bullied by you,
clause, the
Senator
14th
Padilla.
Amendment of the United States of America, which was deeply disappointing.
I guess you
And I'm
didn't want
hoping
to
you're
hear
more
my
familiar
answer
with it
about
today
Pennsylvania.
after I gave an opportunity to study overnight. So can you tell me and this committee what the citizenship clause of the 14th Amendment says?
Senator, I'm here to answer your questions. I'm not here to do your homework and study for you. If I am confirmed
No,
as
you're
Attorney
the one
General.
asking for a confirmation
Hey,
vote,
you
ma'am.
cut me off. Can I please finish?
What does the 14th Amendment say?
Senator, the 14th Amendment, we all know, addresses birthright citizenship. I've been a state prosecutor. I've been a state AG. I look forward to, even given your remarks today, working with you and the people of California if I am confirmed as the 87th Attorney General of the United States of America. I didn't take your homework assignment. I'm sorry. I was preparing for today.
So on the 14th Amendment, now you've testified repeatedly to this committee that you will uphold the laws of this country and defend the Constitution of the United States. Do you believe birthright citizenship is the law of the land, and will you defend it regardless of a child born in the United States, regardless of their parents' immigration status?
Senator, I will study birthright citizenship. I would love to meet with you regarding
Ma'am, you're
birthright
asking us to
citizenship. Can I
continue
answer
to
the
serve as the
question?
Attorney General of the United States, and you still need to study the 14th Amendment of the Constitution? That is not helping me have more confidence in your ability to do this job. One other immigration-related question, and I'll steer clear of the
I have
Constitution
one
and the
regarding
law.
that I'd like to
Senator
talk about.
Hirona asked you earlier, but I don't think you answered her question. Can you please tell us, do you agree with the statement that immigrants are, quote, poisoning the blood of our country, yes or no?
I did not say that.
I did not say that you said it. I'm asking if you agree with it, yes or no?
I did not say that.
Do you agree with it, yes or
Senator,
no?
my great-grandparents are immigrants.
Do you agree with it,
They
yes or no?
came here from Sicily
Do you agree
through
with it,
Ellis
yes or
Island
no?
when they were teenagers.
Do you agree with it, yes or no?
Senator, let me answer the question.
Yes or no? It's
My
real simple.
great-grandparents came here, immigrated to this country from Sicily, recently went and found each of their birth certificates. We are a nation made up of immigrants. Do I believe immigrants are poisoning our country? No, Senator.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I can't wait for the second round.
Same, Senator. Thank you. No, sir. Thank you.
The moment that lingered in the chamber was not a single outburst, but a pattern. A United States senator asked a direct question, then asked it again and again. Evidence, yes or no? Facts or retraction? And what followed was not an answer, but evasion. Words circling the truth without ever touching it. In that exchange between Senator Alex Padilla and Pam Bondi, the hearing shifted from routine confirmation theater into something deeper, darker, and far more revealing. Because this was never just about Pennsylvania. It was never just about one election, one trip, or one press appearance beside Rudy Giuliani. What unfolded in those minutes was a test, not of political loyalty, but of moral clarity. A test of whether someone seeking the highest law enforcement office in the nation can separate personal allegiance from constitutional obligation. And when the moment demanded precision, accountability, and humility before the facts, what the country witnessed instead was deflection. Padilla's question was simple by design. Do you have proof of wrongdoing in the 2020 election? Yes or no? That question matters because the justice system runs on evidence, not impressions. On records, not recollections. On proof that can withstand scrutiny, not stories that dissolve under oath. When someone who wants to lead the Department of Justice cannot give a straight answer to that question, the silence itself becomes the answer. This exchange revealed something fundamental about power in modern America. We no longer argue only about policy. We argue about reality itself. Padilla anchored his challenge in documented outcomes, certified results, and his own experience as a state election official who openly invited proof and received none. Bondi responded with anecdotes, location, and emotion. I was there, I saw, and let me tell you. But the law does not operate on proximity. Courts do not rule on vibes. Justice demands verifiable truth. And then came the deeper fracture. Padilla reminded the room and the public that lawyers who promoted similar claims in court have faced severe professional consequences. Disbarment, sanctions, the collapse of credibility. This was not partisan rhetoric. It was a warning drawn from precedent. If false claims cannot survive a courtroom, how can they guide a Justice Department? As the questioning moved to constitutional literacy, the stakes rose even higher. The 14th Amendment is not an obscure footnote. It is one of the pillars of American law, defining who belongs, who is protected, and how equal treatment is enforced. When a nominee for Attorney General dismisses a question about its meaning as homework, the issue is not tone. It is preparedness. The Constitution is not a suggestion. It is the job description. Bondi emphasized her experience as a prosecutor and attorney general. Those roles matter, but experience without clarity is not leadership. Padilla's concern was not whether Bondi had held office before, but whether she understood the weight of the one she seeks now. The Attorney General does not serve a president's inner circle. The Attorney General serves the Constitution, especially when doing so is inconvenient. Even in the final exchange, when Bondi rejected inflammatory rhetoric about immigrants and spoke of her own family history, the contrast remained. Her answer arrived eventually, but only after resistance, redirection, and personal narrative. The truth emerged, but it had to fight its way through political armor to do so. This is why hearings like this matter, not because they change votes overnight, but because they expose character under pressure. They show how power responds when confronted with facts it would rather avoid. They reveal whether law is treated as a shield for the public or a tool for allies. The American justice system depends on a shared agreement that truth is not negotiable, that evidence matters, that constitutional limits are real. When leaders blur those lines, the damage does not stay inside a hearing room. It spreads outward, eroding trust in institutions meant to stand above faction and favor. What happened here was not chaos. It was clarity. A senator demanded accountability. A nominee resisted it, and the record now speaks for itself. In moments like this, democracy does not collapse loudly. It frays quietly in unanswered questions, in studied ambiguity, in the refusal to say yes or no, when the law demands one or the other. The future of justice depends on whether those moments are remembered, examined, and acted upon. Because in the end, the Constitution does not defend itself. It relies on people willing to uphold it, especially when it is uncomfortable, especially when it conflicts with loyalty, and especially when the cameras are rolling. If you believe these moments matter, if you believe accountability should never be optional, support our work to expose the truth. Subscribe to Liberty Report USA.